Hello everyone, welcome to Techmark solution. This is part 2 Photoshop tutorial, how to add elements on Photoshop. As I discussed on part 1, how to open a new file in a Photoshop. So this is a new blank document and let's learn how to add elements. To begin with, let's learn how to add text on the Photoshop document. On my left hand side, in my tools option, I have a T. If you don't have this tool options, the way to get is go to Windows and check this tool. Because I unchecked, the toolbox has gone out of the panel. To get it back, Windows, click the tools and you got your tools options here. So if you click T or hit T on your keyboard, you will have a text tool selected. Make sure after you select a tool, you have the properties related to that tool. So as this is the text, you have a text family, font family, select any family from the option. What is the size of the font? You can increase or decrease the size of the font. And then the most important is the color. As you can see, my document background is white color, so now I'll start with dark red color. Click on the canvas and then start typing Photoshop. So now what Photoshop does is after you type, it adds the layers by itself. On the right hand side in your layer panel, you can see that has added a text layer. If you don't have this layer options, again you can go to Windows and check these layers, or F7. Go to Windows and check these layers, F7. You will have the layers panel open. So now I'm happy with the text. How about to move the text? I want to move the text in middle of my document. So the way to select the text is make sure you click appropriate layer. So at the moment I'm trying to move Photoshop, and then on my left hand side there is a move tool. You can hit V on your keyboard or you click on the left hand side and the first tool. Now because my text tool Photoshop is selected, I can click and drag, I can move anywhere. Look what happened if I click background. I'm trying to move, so it's telling could not move this tool because it's the locked layer. So let's add another text file, Photoshop tutorials. As soon as you finished and you're happy with the text, go back and select your move tool, and because my tutorials is being selected, I can move the tutorials. If I want to move Photoshop, click the layer Photoshop and then move the Photoshop. Click the tutorial and then move the tutorials. So we just added a text. How about adding some drawings like rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse tools and polygon tools? To begin with rectangle, so if I click my rectangle tool, it's a shape. It's asking what fill color you like, what stroke you like, and how much is the size of the stroke. So let me explain you in detail what are these three options. If I click and drag, as you can see, the fill color is red. This is the fill color, and the corners, the outer area, the border of the rectangle is blue. If I increase the size to 3, you can see the border size is getting increased. In Photoshop you have an option, you can either deselect the border, so you can tell I don't want any border, no color for the border. Go back, select your move tool, so make a habit to select the move tool, and now you can see you have the layers keep adding on, the elements on the document has been adding on. So you have a Photoshop layer, you have a rectangle layer, and tutorials. How about if you like to move rectangle, select the rectangle, select the move tool, and then you're ready to move. And in a Photoshop, when you keep add on lots of elements, you might have 10 or 20 layers, so it's very difficult to know which layer belongs to what. So you can say this, you can rename by double clicking on the text. So I can name this as a red box. I can name this as tutorials and text. Yeah, that's fine. There's one more element where you can see this custom shape tool. By default, Photoshop has given us some pre-built custom shapes. In later tutorials, I'll explain you how to have more custom shape load in your Photoshop. So by default, you can see I have the arrow sign. If I click the arrow sign, hit enter, now you can select the fill color and the stroke color. I don't need a stroke color, and the fill color might be blue color, and then drag the arrow. Now you can see the object, the element of arrow has been added, and on the right hand side you can see on the layers panel a shape has been added, and you double click and you can change as arrow. So go on, you can practice by yourself by adding more text, more symbols, more shapes, more custom shapes, and then try to rename the layers and move. So if you're done with that, you're beginners, you're basic, you're getting hands-on experience on Photoshop. Thanks for watching, and the next part would be more about how to use this marquee tool.